Right, boys, let's watch this Sunny vid from ages ago.
They were the most iconic musical duo of the early 2010s. The wild hair, the lensless glasses, and the bizarre outfits, mixed with a bright, overly saturated color scheme, helped to generate a combined 4 billion views across their 4 most popular music videos, in the process making LMFAO an almost unforgettable act.
4
the
billion?
whole time, however, the two members of the group hated each other. Redfoo and Sky Blue feuded publicly on Facebook, became involved in lawsuits, were berated and destroyed by the media, all while each of their careers died a silent slow death in the background, with failed project after failed project following their peak in 2011.
I only remember one song,
is a brutal
The
warning
Sexy
about
and
the
I Know
risks
It
of
one.
going into business with a family member, because as you may or may not know, the group began as an uncle-nephew duo. Redfoo, being the uncle and older of the two by approximately 11 years, had been born into the music world, with his father being the incredibly rich and famous Berry Gordy, who founded Motown Records, which signed artists such as Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson, with Sky Blue being the 11-year younger nephew of Redfoo, and therefore also being in the same family.
You're actually part of a very famous family.
Yes.
And that is?
The Gordys.
The Gordys.
It's safe to say that the two were in an advantageous position from the very beginning. However, this certainly didn't guarantee success for either of the two family members. In 1997, at the age of 22, Redfoo released his first studio album titled Balance Beam, which, according to the Discogs website, sold only 44 copies. In an interview from 2002, over 5 years after the release of his first album, it appeared as though Redfoo was still somewhat confused about the direction in which his life was going.
And I'm doing some stand-up comedy. I'm doing some music, I'm doing some rapping, but for the first time in my life, I'm trying to just build myself.
Yet at around the same point in time, Redfoo and his nephew Sky Blue seem to have subscribed to the popular self-help movement known as The Secret, believing that if they simply envision themselves as big DJs, the path to such a position would reveal itself as time progressed.
And it started off really with The Secret.
The Secret, the motivational,
thing,
video.
Yeah. We really saw that putting out there what we want is going to come back.
With the goal of becoming big DJs now established, they'd impulsively decide to form LMFAO whilst at a family Christmas party.
One day we were at this Christmas party at the family crib at my grandfather's house. He's like, yo, we should form a group together.
Also mentioning that they originally planned on calling themselves Sexy Dudes, yet decided to go with LMFAO, fearing that Sexy Dudes might result in judgment from their grandmother. Subsequently, Redfoo and Sky Blue began to live what they described to be the party rock lifestyle, DJing 3 nights per week at clubs across Los Angeles, whilst working on improving their music during the daytime.
We were just living this lifestyle, which was, you know, party rock. You know what I'm saying? Like, we went and did clubs 3 times a week, and people didn't know who we were, didn't know our music, and we just get up there, yo, what up, we LMFAO. We were partying every night, we're performing, and every night, and if not, we're creating something, we're making something. To me, that whole time just felt like one long party.
This is where LMFAO's family connections came into play. Redfoo and will.i.am from the Black Eyed Peas.
It's pretty nuts how some of these bands just appear out of thin air. I can't think of other examples. People like Robin Thicke with Blurred Lines. There's been loads of people like this. They just turn up. Psy or whatever he's called, the Korean guy. The Gangnam Style, that sort of stuff. Just turn up out of nowhere. Boom, like billions of views.
Had conveniently been friends since high school.
All
By
over the
2009,
world.
Redfoo and his cousin had been creating music for over 10 years, giving LMFAO enough skill and experience to land a major record deal through will.i.am. Subsequently, he and Sky Blue would release bangers such as Yes and I'm in Miami, at which point they'd fully embody the idea that success happens not at all, then all at once. Yes went certified gold in the United States, boasting over 500,000 sales, whilst I'm in Miami peaked top 50 in the charts throughout the United States, the UK, Canada, and Australia. The extreme popularity of these two songs caught the attention of David Guetta, who would feature them on his song Getting Over You alongside Fergie, which has over 250 million views to this day. Yet, the music seemed like only half of what made LMFAO so iconic. A large portion of their skill seemed to lie in their memorable style and branding. You could tell that the members of LMFAO were just these two Los Angeles bozos.
What's your favorite thing about Los Angeles?
Didn't know that.
other women.
who had a genuine passion for partying and making others dance. Everything about them was just so authentic. Their wacky style and carefree attitude felt effortless and unapologetic. Every other DJ seemed to be trying so hard to look cool or suave, yet LMFAO was so comfortable in making a fool of themselves for the entertainment of others, as if they were mixing
allowed to
comedy
watch
into
that?
their music. However, this approach certainly wasn't appreciated by everyone. In June 2011, LMFAO released their most infamous album titled Sorry for Party Rocking, which would receive a 0 out of 10 review from NME, which included a statement reading, "LMFAO understood the pain they were inflicting on the world and did it anyway. That's a horrifying thought. Even Lucifer had
0
limitations."
out
The
of
Guardian
10?
would give Sorry for Party Rocking a slightly better review at
Oh,
1 out of 5
shit.
stars. However, if anything, these reviews were simply proof that taste is subjective, as the songs within this album would go on to become some of the most popular in pop music history. As mentioned in the beginning, the 4 most viewed songs on the album, Party Rock Anthem, Champagne Showers, Sorry for Party Rocking, and Sexy and I Know It, boast a combined total of 4 billion views here on YouTube, while on the Billboard Greatest of All Time Hot 100 Songs, Party Rock Anthem still sits at rank number 7 over 10 years later. However, while on the surface it seemed as though everything was going incredibly
body
well for
popping, there it
LMFAO,
is.
nobody could tell that behind the scenes, the relationship between the two members was beginning to deteriorate. The beef between
shit.
Red Foo and Sky Blue began in early 2012 after Sky Blue would injure his back during a live Super Bowl performance alongside Madonna.
During the Super Bowl, my disc slipped when I was performing. And so as soon as I went down that little elevator, I collapsed and I couldn't even watch the rest of the show or anything.
This injury meant that
Disc
Sky Blue
injuries
couldn't
are
continue on
bad,
the
man.
tour
No
or possibly
disc
even make music
injuries
at all, meaning
on
Red
the
Foo had
back,
to perform the tour
on
by
the
himself
spine.
while Sky Blue recovered from his injury.
Those
food there for
can
you
like
during that
never
time period, on your
recover.
healing process?
No. No,
Keep,
he's doing
like,
this,
injuring it
you know
again
what
and
I mean?
again.
He was really focused on what he needed to do. The tour kept going, and then I just had to go home, and and everybody kept doing the Party Rock and kept doing the LMFAO without me.
As a result, Sky Blue wasn't paid for the tour.
Did you still get paid though?
Hey, look, I don't.
What kind of story is that? Oh my gosh, yo.
I wish.
So you got kicked out the group because your back went out.
I mean, pretty. Yeah.
Which must have soured their relationship pretty heavily, as after the tour concluded,
Probably not true.
Sky
It's
Blue and
probably
Red Foo
more
wouldn't
like they're
speak to
just
each other
not
for
getting
over
on.
a year.
After my back went out, I didn't speak
My
to
back
Foo
is
for a year.
broken.
Me and Foo didn't talk for a year.
You
Vinyl.
didn't talk on the like Happy Merry Christmas,
Did he
motherfucker?
text you?
Nothing.
It became even worse when news outlets began to catch wind of the conflict. One article written by E! News in April 2012, approximately 2 months after the back injury, read, "The New York Post reported yesterday that the Grammy-nominated rappers are fighting, apparently over the cash they've made from their catchy tunes, including the #1 hits Party Rock Anthem and Sexy and I Know It, and are on the verge of going their separate ways." The 2 LMFAO members would shut these rumors down in an article written by Rolling Stone titled "LMFAO Breakup Rumors Completely False," which stated, "In a conference call with reporters on Wednesday,
Yeah,
the
if
duo
you have a
dismissed
big
the
hit and then
speculation
it
as
all
merely a
goes
byproduct of
downhill,
their rising
bound to
fame.
mess you
It's
up a
completely
bit."
false. We're family at the end of the day. Blood is stronger than anything," said Sky Blue, alluding to the fact that he is Red Foo's nephew. "Sky might be doing a DJ set in South America and I might be in Vegas, and they'll say, oh, they're doing separate things. How can we make a story out of that?" said Red Foo. "We have to be smart enough to recognize it's all a game, keep executing our vision, and turn this world into a party planet." While this response from Red Foo and Sky Blue sounded quite authentic, only 5 months later the two would make a different
Is that their
statement confirming
names?
that LMFAO was officially
Red,
coming
Blue,
to an
and
end.
Sky
Discussing the
Blue.
relationship of the duo, Red Foo would state, "I think we naturally
the
just
Mario
started hanging with
Brothers.
two different sets of people, 2 different crowds, but we're always family. He'll always be my nephew, I'll always be his uncle. I feel like we've been doing this for so long, 5 or 6 years.
Oh, Red
and we're
Foo.
kind of like saying, well, let's just do what's natural and just kind of explore that instead of like forcing it all the time." In video interviews, Red Foo would reinforce that he and Sky Blue had simply grown apart.
Two people just grow. You grow and
Kung
we
Fu.
kind of grew into our own
Bruce Lee.
individuals, and we just wanted to do so many things.
Yet shortly thereafter, Sky Blue would write a Facebook status directed at Red Foo, implying that their split wasn't so amicable. "I've been wanting to speak my truth about this whole LMFAO situation for a long time. Out of respect to my family, I kept it all to myself. The way you belittle people and your crazy power trips were some of the main reasons our relationship as family and partnership has greatly suffered. My back went out right before a big arena show. You went out and performed, but then just left on the tour bus without seeing me. In fact, you didn't speak to me after that for about a year, which is around the time you announced our hiatus. As someone who really cared, loved, and had your back, this really hurt. I mean, you're my uncle, my blood. You even kept touring as LMFAO and made a lot of money doing it. You never once called me to ask me how I was recovering, you just kept shuffling every day without me. I really loved you, I looked up to you, man, but the more successful we got, the more you wanted control. Possibly spotting a weakness in the duo, LMFAO would then be presented with a $7 million lawsuit by their former management, as well as another lawsuit by Rick Ross, who claimed that their line "Every Day I'm Shuffling" had been copied from his 2006 song titled "Every Day I'm Hustling." Interestingly, throughout the lawsuit, Rick Ross would get further insight into the reason behind LMFAO's split. Further, Ross says Sky trashed his uncle in a deposition, where he said the real reason LMFAO broke up was Redfoo's refusal to keep him in the loop. With LMFAO breaking up and being sued, Redfoo and Sky Blue's only logical path was to continue as solo artists.
I can't get over that name.
Go as planned.
After having such a success in LMFAO, and then going to a club, and then there's like 20 people there because Sky Blue's coming, not LMFAO.
As mentioned, Sky Blue went from selling out arenas as LMFAO to having 20 people show up to his shows as a solo artist. He released 2 singles in the year after LMFAO's breakup, each of which performing reasonably with around 2 million views each on YouTube, yet this was basically all of the success that Sky Blue was able to achieve as a solo artist. His career would fizzle out in the 3 years that followed, with his final piece of music being released in late 2016.
Find that a lot though. Like
and while this
successful
marks
duo
the
bands,
end of Sky Blue's career, Redfoo being the more famous of the two,
never
had substantially
do
more
well on
success
their
as
own.
a solo artist, but only in the beginning. He'd initially land a position as a judge on X Factor Australia, in the process dropping songs such as That New Thing and Let's Get Ridiculous, each of which going platinum in sales, whilst both cracking the 100 million view mark here on YouTube. However, alongside these 2 incredibly popular tracks, Redfoo would also feature on a song titled Literally I Can't, which would unravel much of the success that he had built as a solo artist. The song, which according to one article follows a group of sorority girls who are pressured into drinking and dancing, was labelled as misogynistic by countless different news outlets, prompting a response from Redfoo, who would state, "Another example of critics victimizing an artist by purposely misinterpreting his/her work to support a pre-existing agenda, #literally I can't," which will create a rift between him and his audience, with Twitter responses such as, "Dude, you've got a video of bros victimizing a group of women because they don't feel safe drinking with them. No, this isn't victimizing. You're a blatant example of extreme misogynistic behavior. Whatever made you think those lyrics were okay? He's sexist and he knows it." Others would go so far as to create a petition stating that Redfoo shouldn't be rehired on the next season of X Factor, which went on to receive over 23,000 signatures. Incredibly, the petition's request became a reality only a few months later, when Redfoo was ultimately fired from the show. He'd get another shot on television after being invited to compete on Dancing with the Stars, only to be eliminated in the very first round. Yet being booted from X Factor and being eliminated on Dancing with the Stars was nothing compared to the reality check that Redfoo would receive after he'd released a brand new album in 2016 titled Party Rock Mansion. The album was dubbed a commercial failure after it would sell a miserable 144 copies in Australia for a number 172 debut, which was especially terrible as Redfoo had counted Australia as one of his most successful territories. The lackluster performance of the album seemed to indicate to Redfoo that his music career was coming to an end, as he only created a handful of songs in the 2 years following the poor release of Party Rock Mansion, creating his final song in February 2018 before also disappearing from the music industry. In countless interviews from before the pair disappeared, both Redfoo and Sky Blue seemed pretty confident that at some point they'd get back together for an LMFAO reunion.
Will Sky Blue and Redfoo ever get together and make another LMFAO project? Is that even possible based on where you at?
Yeah, probably. I'd say
for
yeah.
obvious reasons as outlined, it doesn't seem like this will be happening
try it.
anytime soon.
I'd say they try it. Like most bands. How many bands do you know that have like split up or something and always end up getting back together for like one more hurrah or whatever? Even Blink 182 ended up getting back together. Just haven't done any good songs yet. Yeah, I wonder what happened to that band. Okay, it turns out that they basically don't get on in real life. Once the money started rolling in, the creative differences appeared, and that was the end of them. GG. The afro is gone.